Fizik is a brand whose reputation, at least for me, was one time based entirely off of one saddle that when you rode it, it felt like you were getting punched in the chota. Then they started putting out so many good looking shoes that, well, I started to think of feet more often than the Onion's Peter Rosenthal.
Perfectly fine film for foot fetishists.
When they did it though, they transitioned their mind share to that of a high performance, design driven, fashion based cycling brand. I mean, just look at all those colors. So in 2025, when an Italian performance brand shows up late to the party with their first helmet, I'm gonna have high expectations. But are expectations just disappointments waiting to happen? Getting the Kassis into my hands for the first time really lets me know that I might need to adjust my expectations. For what is an Italian design, it's got that clean, functional Scandinavian style to it. I mean, it's as if Polestar made a helmet. It's got more Scandi steez than Emilio Hansen. And just like Polestar, they've innovated where others don't. It's a light. But seriously, there's this little simple mount here that you can either shove this reflector into or this cute little plastic USB-C chargeable light that comes with the helmet, and this cute little satisfying magnet cover, and comes with a couple different modes. Yeah, I am a big fan of this. The reason being is because I've been hit twice by cars. One of those times was on a winter ride that went too late. I didn't have my lights on me. I was dressed like a pumpkin, but having lights that I don't have to remember to bring with me seems like a great idea. Yeah, really love this. I wonder what else we could put onto this. Or you could just leave it off. Fizik has already challenged my expectations around the features that a high-end helmet should have. But my basic expectation of receiving the color I ordered was certainly a letdown. I ordered the most exciting color they had on the site, which for a brand like Fizik was a little bland. I mean, look at none of those colors. So I chose this tritone colorway called Sand. Although it arrived looking distinctly a little more duo into halftone, I reached out to Fizik to see if it was a defect, and I got an answer from the product manager. Turns out what actually happened was the creative department got a little sassy with the lighting and saturation, and that tasty rose gold color that I expected doesn't actually exist. I was pretty curious about the Kassis' retention system. They tout their custom crown adjustment as a pretty significant thing. What it actually does is it allows you to decide whether the retention device pulls from the front of the helmet for narrower shaped heads or pulls from the side of the helmet for a rounder profile. Now this shell fit me pretty snugly from the get-go, so I didn't notice a significant difference, but with a different shaped head, your mileage may vary. There's a massive amount of vertical adjustment for the rear of the retention device. And most importantly, my expectations of what high quality feels like were met with the incredible ASMR-worthy ratchet dial. Don't fall for the marketing though. It isn't going to change the fit of the helmet. It's only going to change the fit of the retention device. As per the Virginia Tech rant video, if the shell doesn't fit, the shell does not fit. They've added reflectivity to the helmet straps, which I think is pretty sweet. It's simple, but a lovely touch. They've also left space for your ear by separating the chin strap and the ear loop. That's so much better and more comfortable than the traditional V-shape adjustment system of most helmets, where it feels like you're parking a trailer. That being the reason why most people wear their helmets wrong. Let's talk about MIPS for a second. The Kassis has a fancy version of MIPS, the Air Node, where the MIPS layer is entirely in the padding. That being said, I feel like this particular MIPS version is simply an admission that having a luxurious mane or a layer of butter on your head would work just as well as a rotational layer, but that's a different video. That doesn't mean I would trade the MIPS layer or rotational injury layer out of my helmet just because I've got this beautiful mane. But it does mean I would trade the MIPS right out of this particular helmet, if I could. Because this MIPS padding is actually just a slippery layer on the back of the pads, it creates what I would see is the helmet's biggest downside. The padding sometimes blocks the ventilation. On rides where I got too sweaty or they involved looking ahead and then looking down directly in front of my front wheel because maintaining good form on a skinny is impossible, the padding would make like Janet Jackson in a 2004 Super Bowl and slip a MIP, subsequently blocking some of the best ventilation that the Kassis has to offer. The massive vents on this helmet are pretty impressive looking, but interestingly enough, I didn't feel any particular benefits over the ventilation on other helmets that I wear. That could be my preference for riding slow North Shore jank and my performance going up hills slower. Maybe if your trails are consistently faster and flowier, you'll feel a difference that I didn't feel. There was one instance where I felt a difference in the massive vents, and that was when there was enough space for a wasp to go and pin me right in my noggin and get stuck in my MIPS layer, hair. So the Kassis. It's a pretty decent helmet. That being said, my recommendations for helmets flow as always, which is the features don't matter if the helmet doesn't fit. I ride normally a Trolley A3 and my head is pretty happy in that, and the Kassis fits pretty similar. But back to the idea that expectations are disappointments waiting to happen. Fizik's journey and ascension from Chota Puncher Hoodoogan to Italian design stallion really set my expectations quite high. Big ol' vents that scream air intake, padding that blocks your vents, regal color that sparkles like jewelry, the desaturated real-life version of those colors, thoughtful strap design and placement, an incredibly cheap feeling snap where I want to see a fid lock at this price, the most satisfying ratchet mechanism of any retention system, a visor that feels like trying to accurately adjust oatmeal. Fizik's first mountain bike helmet, the Kassis. With some of my expectations being fully met and others being total letdowns, I feel like the contrast has me remembering the reputation of Chota Puncher of yore rather than completely forgetting that ever existed. And to be honest, I'm kind of feeling a little uneven about the whole thing. If you really actually want a conclusion, like a fine buy, don't buy kind of thing, here's the deal. If you commute and mountain bike in the same helmet, that built-in light, chef's kiss. If it's the best fitting helmet on the market for your head, great choice. Otherwise, I can't this. So I'm sticking with my Trolley A3 for now because I love that thing. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and stick around for more reviews, storytelling, all that jazz.